Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, you're watching a full weekend edition of World Insight. Now, with barely a week to go before the Iranians go to the polls to choose their next president, the four main candidates have been campaigning hard. The election pits conservatives against reformists as well as against each other. The frontrunners are the incumbent president, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, and a former Prime Minister, Mir Hossein Mousavi. Iranians will decide whether to give Ahmadinejad a second term in office or to elect a moderate reformist to replace him.
Election fever grips Iran. Four candidates are standing for election. The incumbent, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. Conservative candidate Mohsen Rezai, former Revolutionary Guards chief. Reformist candidate Mir Hossein Mousavi, former Prime Minister. And reformist candidate Mehdi Karoubi, former parliamentary speaker. The man leading the country for the past 4 years, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, has made nuclear power the centerpiece of his campaign.
So far, we were after building 3,000 nuclear centrifuges, but the world has to know that from today, our goal is 55,000 centrifuges.
For reformist candidates like Mir Hossein Mousavi, the priority is social.
Changing this mentality and image of women can be very helpful, because if we step toward improving the situation of our women, then we have progressed along the path of elimination of discrimination.
The two are facing off in an unprecedented series of debates.
Truly, when it comes to foreign relations, we have altered our country's reputation and have damaged it. We have shamed our country, and this has hurt us.
I'm not fighting against one candidate. I'm standing against a combination led by Rafsanjani and with the cooperation of Mousavi and Khatami.
Polls suggest that only Ahmadinejad and Mousavi have a real chance, with both getting support of over 30%. More than half of the population was born after the 1979 Islamic Revolution. That makes the young a powerful voting bloc.
Definitely, 100%. The only candidate that I will vote for is Mr. Ahmadinejad.
The big and beautiful aims that Mousavi speaks of: freedom, law and justice. This is what we want and is worthy of our nation.
The two leading contenders have little in common. Mousavi is backed by Tehran's educated urban elite. The majority of Ahmadinejad's socially conservative supporters live in the countryside. Mousavi says he'll hold talks with major powers on the nuclear issue. He's also enlisted blogs and websites like Facebook in his campaign. And Ahmadinejad is reportedly going for the material world. It's said he's distributed 400,000 tons of potatoes to voters. And last month's long-range missile launch is said to be another boost for Ahmadinejad. 4 years ago, Ahmadinejad came to power, promising economic justice. 4 years on, soaring inflation and unemployment only make life even harder for Iranians. But his clean and people-friendly image gains him vast and solid support from the poor population.
The election comes at a time when the financial crisis has spread across the globe and oil prices have dropped sharply. Ahmadinejad didn't fulfill his promise of reviving the economy, and that has become his main weakness. Yet, he's gained some ground in pushing forward the nuclear development.
In an Islamic country, religion can never be ignored. The supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, plays the key role in the election. In the 2005 election, Ahmadinejad got only 19% in the first round. But with Khamenei's support in the runoff, he beat the front-runner Hashemi Rafsanjani with nearly 62%. Khamenei has recently said that Election Day is one of the Iranian nation's big tests before the eyes of the enemies. By enemies, he surely meant the United States for one.
There's now a saying at the academic level that the Iranian election is a game for Khamenei to judge Iran's future course. If he believes a moderate reformist in power is in Iran's national interests, Khamenei will wield his influence on the Mousavi side. If Khamenei wants to continue the hardline course, Ahmadinejad will get a second term.
So far, the important endorsement remains elusive. Khamenei seems to be hedging his bets with no clear support of any candidate. While on the U.S. side, President Barack Obama has made moves to reach out to Iran.
I would like to speak clearly to Iran's leaders.
He sent a message on the Iranian New Year offering direct talks without preconditions. His keynote speech in Cairo on Thursday aimed at increasing engagement with the Islamic world in general.
Rather than remain trapped in the past, I've made it clear to Iran's leaders and people that my country is prepared to move forward. The question now is not what Iran is against, but rather what future it wants to build.
And if the meaning of the speech is mainly symbolic, something more concrete has also come out this week. The New York Times reports Washington has instructed U.S. ambassadors across the world that they may invite Iranian diplomats to American Independence Day celebrations on July 4th. The two have had no diplomatic ties since 1979, when student protesters seized the U.S. Embassy in Tehran. The new gesture means U.S. diplomats may open the new cookout diplomacy with a slice of cheese, hot dogs, and a dab of ketchup. Washington has kicked the ball to the Iranian side. Tehran's response hasn't been clear, but the release of the Iranian-American journalist Roxana Saberi offered hints of moderation by the ruling Islamic clerics. Saberi was released in May after Iran suspended her 8-year prison sentence on espionage charges.
The result of the Iranian election holds the key to the future development of Iranian-U.S. relations. A new Iranian government may provide a better platform for Iranian-U.S. relations. And if Ahmadinejad gets a second term, the possibility also exists that he will make some adjustments to his policy.
Analysts say within the Islamic system of Iran, the power of the president is far more limited than in countries like the U.S. Even a reformist victory would only change the tone, not the substance, of Iran's foreign policies. But as in any other system, politics are not just national, but very personal.
Now, whoever wants to win that election will need more than half the votes just to avoid a second round. If none achieve this, a runoff vote will take place on June 19th. If so, the votes will be reallocated and the situation could become even more complex. But whatever the result, we'll here, of course, keep you updated on the coming weeks' developments.